All e-commerce practitioners know that to scale revenue, we just need a good handle on Google Analytics, Search Console, Hotjar, and throw some best practices into this concoction. Out comes infinite revenue scalability, right? Wrong. While tools are a fantastic help, they are no match for the real deal. You see, I just finished a user study for a client of ours, and I remain consistently blown away by the nuggets that we find, some of which even go against best practices for e-commerce. So in this video, I will take you on a tour of a user study and how it will uncover tremendous opportunities for your brand. Here's the problem. It is so easy to rely on our knowledge and our experience to guide our decisions for our website. Knowledge comes from great sources, don't get me wrong. I love learning from the Baymard or the Nielsen studies of thought, great stuff. And while they're well-founded, well-studied, well-researched, and they're essential for us to understand, they aren't the Bible in relating to how we understand our customers. So what is not a user study? Well, first, it's not a user experience study where we present designs to people and ask them to interact with the designs. It's also not a search engine optimization audit. That's tools, good to do that, but it is not an audit like that. It's also not creating reports in Google Analytics and saying this is how your customers interact with the website. It's not using heat maps. It's also not superimposing what we want on these metrics. And it most assuredly is not a 10-week-long study that costs 6 figures. All of these things are good and right in their own merit, but that's not a user study. So what is a user study? It's understanding what a representative sampling of your customers wants and how this aligns with your business objectives, like to sell more products. The core of a user study is talking to customers. And of course, I don't want to diminish the fact that we do use tools to facilitate this process. What's the outcome of a user study? Well, we often think that a beautiful e-commerce experience leads to more sales. And in some cases it does, but not always. The outcome of the user study will direct investments to where our customers see the opportunity. And of course, we all know it's our customers who are putting in their credit card to make a purchase on our website. These user studies uncover things you normally wouldn't think of. It could be a hiccup in the buying process or an identification of a holistic information architecture problem. It helps find features that are, well, important and those that just aren't used. It can also be a sounding board to understand a customer's aptitude for a new feature. And it will most definitely shine a light on how people browse our website and their motivation to buy. In fact, in our most recent user study, we found that the product title was mainly not used to identify the right product for what a customer's needs were, which brings up a whole bunch of other critical questions to think through. The result from a user study is intensely practical, actionable advice for what our customers want from the website. These findings may align with best practices, but they also might stray from what we would think is the ideal solution. Either way, they will highlight how customers want to interact with your brand, giving real data with which we can make decisions. In summary, a user study is, you might say, the closest thing possible to documenting your customers. It's like capturing the essence of what's important to your customers, so now we can fine-tune these features to facilitate our customers' experience. This helps your customers, which in turn, of course, helps you. It's a huge win-win. But before I dive into what does the process look like for building a user study, I'd like to take a moment just for a really blunt comment. We'd love to do a user study for you. The results you'll get, I guarantee, will both be surprising and invaluable. And even better, you'll have this warm feeling of comfort because now you have this North Star, a filter to verify every website decision against. So if you're open to a conversation, shoot me an email, joseph@swiftotter.com. And let's get back to this conversation. So we start the user study by identifying who we imagine or think uses the website. We don't know for sure, so it's ultimately just an educated guess. Although using the customer groups or discount groups, depending on your e-commerce platform terminology, is a great way to start. We then run a ton of queries that we've developed on the order and customer databases to piece together a picture of sales data and really to try to understand buying habits as a whole. This is the time where we do bring in other tooling to get a bigger picture. So Google Analytics, Google Search Console, session recording tools, email marketing, reviews, anything that's possible to get this window into how people interact and the potential pain points that they then experience. Then we build buckets to categorize a lot of these customers. So big spenders, first-time buyers, regular repeats, etc. So each group has something special to offer the questions that we're going to ask. For example, big spenders, they're probably very passionate about our brand unless somehow we're running this monopoly like Microsoft because we have something unique to offer. First-time buyers, well, they're going to be the most likely to run into a hiccup. You've heard of Murphy's Law. And we need to pay special attention here because each first timer is especially critical. They're an opportunity for us to show hospitality, take good care of them, and help them become a repeat. Repeats are loyal, but they might be open to other brands. And so out of these buckets, we do significant research to determine who is likely to be the best fit to talk to. So that means we're ready to begin talking to customers, right? Not so fast. If we were to just call up a customer, say, hey, my name is Joseph with XYZ company. I'd like to chat with you about your experience on the website. Great. First question you'd ask, well, what is your experience on the website? They give you some information, tell you, and that's really important to listen to, by the way. And then you're like, well, I actually got nothing else for you. So in reality, we need questions to ask. The most effective questions gather information, and we have to be really careful to avoid leading questions. If you've ever watched a deposition with attorneys and all that fancy legal stuff present, you'll sometimes hear the comment leading question. And that's basically saying you're trying to get them to say something. Politicians are famous. They know how to get anyone to agree with them if they just put the right spin on it. It's not ethical in politics, and it's not ethical in here either. So now we can just pick up the phone, start calling people, you bet. And it is a blast. But while we are on the phone, we must listen carefully. A non-negotiable in these calls is to be intensely aware of the person you are talking to on the other end. They need to feel appreciation and respect. And they can't feel like the call goes too long, or God forbid, they don't feel like you're listening to them. Of course, we document these findings. We boil them down into an easily digestible format of problems, solutions, and recommendations. There you go. There's the SwiftOtter user study. I wish I had more time to go into more detail. There is so much more that goes into this, but at least you understand what a user study is, the outcomes from the user study, and a high-level review of the process of a user study. If you don't have something like this North Star for your brand, we'd love to chat and build one for you. As with all things e-commerce, we at SwiftOtter are passionate about helping you succeed. So just do it. Send me an email, joseph@swiftotter.com, and I'll help you get connected with the super smart people on our sales team to get this project kicked off for you.